Hi all, welcome to today's video. So in today's video, we are going to see a real-time project, how to create an AI model which predict the air quality index. You all know that the pollution is rising day by day and our society is having a problem in air pollution. So when we create an AI model that will predict the air quality index, we are helping the society so that they can take, based on our data, they can take proactive actions in order to reduce the pollutions. So, yeah, just we will get into the problem. Create an AI model. Create an AI model to predict AQI. Okay, AQI. And for that, number one, we are going to download a data set. Okay, data set. And then we will see how to, we are going to use Google Colab. Okay, before that, we are going to use Google Colab as our IDE. Okay, IDE means Integration Development Environment. So we are going to use Python as our coding language. Okay, and for predicting using Python, we are going to predict the air quality index. So we need a data set mainly to train the AI model and for testing purpose. And then I am going to use three packages, import three packages in Python. Okay, each is for each feature. One is Pandas, mainly for reading and cleaning the data. And then second is Matplotlib, and number third is Numpy. Okay, so we will see in the video why these packages are useful. Okay, for what purpose, and then with for model training, right? For training the model, which algorithm I am going to use. So I have selected linear regression as my algorithm. Why I have selected is because I know pollution is my independent variable, that is independent feature. Okay, independent. So this is my, for example, I will say independent variable is my input. So my input tells about the pollution. Okay, so pollution data has minimum and maximum values Okay, so when we so this is going to be my independent variable, and what I'm going to predict is the AQI, air quality index. So this is going to be my independent variable, and this will be depending on my pollution, right? So if you take these two variables, they both are linearly proportional. How I'm saying is, when pollution increases, my AQI also increases. So this is how I relate my input and output. So my input is my pollution data, and then I'm using linear regression as my AI model, and then I'm going to get the air quality index as my output, AQI. Okay, so this is my input and this is my output. So hope you understand, hope you have a basic picture of what we are going to do in this video. So we will see in a detailed manner how to implement it in real time. Okay, so first I will tell you how to get the data set. Okay, so for getting the data set, just type AQI data set. And if you see, there are many websites like Kaggle and government. I have chosen government data set. Okay, so if I go here into this and I have this data set. Okay, so just give download. When you click download, it will ask commercial or non-commercial. Just give non-commercial, academic purpose. Give your name and mobile and email address, and enter this captcha. Enter this captcha in the box and then click download button. It will be downloaded to your folder. Okay, so if you see, this has been published in 2016 and then it is updated on, it is recently updated. It has new data. So it will be very helpful for our analysis. So now I have downloaded my data set, right? So when I open it, I see these are the columns. I have country and state-wise columns, city, station, and last updated date, and latitude, longitude, pollutant ID. I have just highlighted it in red because this is the main cause of pollution. There are different chemical substances present in the air, like what is PM 1010, PM 2.5, NH3, and then SO2, and we have NO2. We have different types of pollutants, right? So that pollutant is what is causing pollution in the air. So I have highlighted it in red, and then pollutant minimum value, maximum value, and this is the average. If you see, I told input variables, right? Like these are my, I'm highlighting it in yellow, okay? So these both are my input variable. So based on, so for example, if I take Anantapur on 28 1 January, for ozone, it is like 12, minimum is 12, maximum is 26, and average is the output. They are using mathematical calculation for calculating the average. So output, I am just highlighting it in blue. So this is my input and this is my output. So this is how I train my model with the input and output, so that when I give a test data, based on its learning, it will correctly provide the average, and how it will say whether the air quality index or medium, poor, that we will see, okay. Now, so I have opened Google Colab. So Google Colab is a free version you can just open, and there is no need of attaching a cluster. You can just start your coding work. Okay, so before before that starting our coding, I have just typed what are all the input steps, like in text I have just typed. Okay, so first we are going to input the libraries and load the data set. Just I have jolted down the steps one by one. So while doing our programming, this will be helpful. And we have to load the data set. Okay, so this has a session level storage. Session level storage means once I have opened this Google Chrome, this is my session 1. When I close this, the loaded data set will not be available next time when I open again. So every time I open online, right? So it is a session level storage. So next time when I open, it will not be available. So I will tell you how to load our data set. Okay, so we have different options here. We have find and replace. This is code snippet. So I go to this file storage. Okay, and we have the upload option here. I just go upload my input. Okay, so this is my air quality. I input. So once this is my air quality. Okay, so I have uploaded my Excel in a CSV format. I have uploaded, and then for starting a new page, just go to the file and open a new notebook in Drive, so that you will open a new notebook like this in your Google Colab interface. So once this is done, there is no need to connect to any cluster or any other interface. Just you can start your coding. Okay, so first I'll tell. First is I'm going to import my Pandas and Scikit-learn, which are all the required libraries I'm going to input. I have my coding here, so I'll just start typing, okay, one by one. So I'm inputting Pandas, okay, and from Scikit-learn model selection, I'm using this function train, test and split. So in the upcoming exercises, I will explain about why we are using this function. And then I'm importing linear regression algorithm. Okay, and then I'm going to load my data set. I load. So after I'm using step by step, right? So I'm just running each cell so that I'm not getting any error. If I'm getting error, so this has been completed. And next I will load this. Okay, so here you can see the loaded data. So just first 5 rows it will display as a header. So and one other important thing I'll tell you. Okay, so learning Python is not difficult. Okay, so I'm not going to teach from basics. Okay, so we are going to learn from these real-time examples. That is how we are going to learn. That is the most effective way. We are not going to learn from basics what is Python. That and all we are not going to do. Just try to learn artificial intelligence and learn Python from these kind of real life examples. When you do 2 to 3 types of these real time examples, you will have an idea why we are doing this and why we are not doing like that. These type of questions you will have, and you will start searching the answers for that, and that is how you try to build your knowledge. This is my way of learning, and that is really helpful. That is how I have been learning for these past years when I'm working in any company. So this is the we have loaded the data set, and this is just a sample of our data set, which are all the columns are present. And then I'm telling just to load. Since I'm worried about only the numerical columns, I do not want any dimension values, right? What I call country, state, those values I don't want. So I'm just keeping the numerical columns. So if I run this, so from latitude, longitude, pollutant minimum, maximum, average, only these input I have got. So based on this only I'm going to train my model. Okay, and to show the input, if you see, so in the data set you saw, right, there were many NA. So I want to fill that NA with the mean values. Mean values means I'm going to fill with the average values. So I do not want any missing data or duplicate values in my Excel input. So how much ever accurate my input data set is, that much accurate level of answer I will be getting it as an output. So I'm finding the NA values and I'm replacing it with the mean. So that is what I'm doing in this step, and after that I'm giving the data. Okay, so this is how I'm I'm setting up the variable X. Okay, so here I'm giving pollutant minimum, as these two are the input variables. Okay, this is how I am creating X, and I am telling that this is these both are my input, that is pollutant minimum and pollutant maximum, and Y is my average output. Okay, so if I run this, you will know. Okay, pollutant minimum, maximum and average. Okay, so this all I've set this as an variable. I've set the variable X and Y, and then now it is the important step. So now I am going to train the model. Okay, so for training the model, if you see, I am giving, so X train, X test, comma Y train, Y test is equal to train test split. Okay, so this is how I am setting. Okay, so first we saw about a function which we upload or imported, right? So here I am using that function. So train test split means X and Y, which I have already given here, right? That X and Y, and test size I am giving it as, instead of 0.5 I am giving it as 0.8. Okay, so I'll change it to 0.8, and then what it means, so I have my input as a pollutant minimum and pollutant maximum is my input, and output is my average. So I'm telling you, take for training purpose, you take 80% of my data. First I'm telling X is my input, Y is my output. Then for training take 80%, that is why I am giving 0.8. Okay, 80% for training purpose, and remaining 20% is for testing purpose. So once from the 80% of the data, it will use for, the model will use for training the AI model, and remaining 20% it will test. Okay, so that is why I am using this line. Okay, so I am importing for model, I am using linear regression. For importing my model, I am using linear regression, and for training and testing, right, so I am using X train and Y train. Okay, and then here this is the important part, this is the output. Okay, so I am giving example values now. So for example, if I give 80 and 150. Okay, so here I give and this step. So if I'll execute this, so you can see the predicted air quality index, right, in the output. Predicted air quality index is 112. Okay, so this is based on my value. Okay, so what I have given AQI 80 and 150, it has calculated the air quality index as 1112. So this 1112, okay, we can calculate using mathematical induction, but now we are using AI algorithm to calculate it. So how we are calculating? We are training based on our data set, and the data set is also testing it, and then we give sample values. So this is where we give our sample values 80 and 50. And once we give our sample values, and when we ask the data set AI model to predict, it is predicting that the air quality index is 112. Okay, so for example, I will change now. So if I change to 90 and 200, we'll see how much it is predicting. So now my air quality index is 142. Okay, so for better understanding, I have used one if else condition. I'm going to see whether my air quality is good or poor. So for that, I'm using a if else condition. Just so for that, if you see AQI prediction, and if it is less than 50, our AQI is there, right? If it is less than 50, we are saying it as good, and if it is less than 100, we are saying it as moderate. Less than 200, we are saying it as poor. Okay, so when I execute this, it says it is poor because it is between the range of 100 and 200, right? It is between the range of 100 and 200, that's why it is telling poor. So when I reduce the sample values, when I reduce to 30 and when I reduce this to 80, what I will get? So here it is 52. So if I give 52, it is moderate. Okay, so 50 greater than 50, right? 51 to 100, it is moderate. That is how we can predict our AQI. Then we will see the important part, how we can plot a graph. Okay, so for plotting a graph, we are using Matplotlib. Okay, so I'll import. So I'm importing Matplotlib. Okay, and then I'm using what graphical representation is scatter plot. Okay, so I'm plotting in the x value the pollutant minimum, and then x label is pollutant minimum, and in my y I'm calculating the air quality index. So minimum with the AQI. So as my air pollution minimum level increases, my AQI also increases. They both are directly proportional. So if I run this, execute this cell, so okay. So this is the dense part. So we can understand our data set has more values between minimum pollutant, that is 150, and air quality index 200, or I mean 150. Okay, this is the box, like the more dense part is there, right? This is how we can understand our data set. By seeing visually, we can understand. When we see a tabular row column based table, we will not know how the data is being structured. So when we see in a scatter plot, we know most of the values are between minimum value, that is pollutant 150, and air quality index is also like below 200. So this is how we try to understand our data. So now next part I will show you the AI line. So I told you, right, a linear line has to go. So how the AI model predicts the line? For that I'm using Numpy. Okay, so I'm importing the Numpy package and then giving the same examples, pollutant minimum, and then it is plotting the variables x line, and then it shows our AI learning line. Okay, so if I execute this cell, if you see, this is how our AI line goes. So when I give a sample value, this is how it is predicting that it will compare the x and y, and it will give our AQI index. So this is our AI line, learning line. Okay, so this is how it learns from our training data set. So that's it for today's video. So you also try to implement this, do it practically on yourself, and try to understand different variables. Even from practical things, artificial intelligence is not only a theory subject, but unless and until we are not knowing to implement it in real time, it was not going to help us. Okay, for it to be really helpful, and it is a very powerful skill set if you have and if you gain knowledge from this. So it is a very powerful skill set. If you are having it in your hand, you can freely go and approach any company, that you can tell them that I have this type of skill set, and surely they are ready to give you any job. Yeah, thank you, and see you in the next video.